Hello, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and today we're talking about the Biden administration terminating, I believe, 5 White House staffers because of their marijuana usage, and claiming that those people had to be terminated as a matter of national security because they utilize marijuana. What? I mean, what? So, it's worth noting, I'm here in New York, and it is currently illegal to test for many jobs, for many kinds of jobs. It's illegal to test for marijuana in the employees, right, within New York City itself. Now, New York State it looks like, finally going to be allowing recreational marijuana usage. And it's worth noting that Washington, D.C. has actually allowed recreational marijuana usage since 2015. However, marijuana is still illegal under federal law. It is states and local governments that are making these changes. And as of right now, it is still illegal under federal law. So that's worth noting, right? That is one explanation for why the Biden administration may have done this. Now, not a great explanation, because it's really important to note that everyone, I think it's just widely accepted. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't believe that leaving marijuana as an illegal drug has a disparate impact on the African American community. And hold up, I'm not saying that black people are more likely to use marijuana. I'm not making a comment on that in any way. What I'm saying is the laws that deal with the possession and sale of marijuana are disparately applied to the African American community, and have done massive damage to that community, and have incarcerated a huge percentage of the youth of that community, and done so much harm, right? I think you'd be hard pressed to find a rational person who doesn't believe that's true. I'm sure someone will leave a comment down below telling me how wrong I am. Come at me, bro. It's fine. Now, marijuana is still illegal on the federal level, in part due to the campaigning of the corrections officers and unions, right? And why do they do that? Well, because if there's tons of people in jails and prisons, more corrections officers have to work, more of them get overtime, the unions get more money, they get more power. It's a really good way to keep corrections officers jobs and open more jobs for more corrections officers, right? And the privatized prison systems as well have their own reasons for wanting more inmates and making more money off these inmates, so they want these laws. So there's the history of these laws being illegal on the federal level is highly questionable, to say the least, right? Now, knowing all that, and I think we can all kind of accept that to be true, and maybe not all of us, and we can talk about that below in the comments, but knowing all that, and knowing President Biden's, I'm paraphrasing, but he famously said, "Oh, you're not voting for me, you're not really black." Wild thing to say. Almost wild thing to say, right? Quite a way to put that. And then to turn around and apparently double down on this belief in the dangers of marijuana usage. And when he gets called on the carpet for it, his administration says, "Oh, well, it was a matter of national security." How? What does smoking weed make you more likely to turn double agent with the Chinese government? I mean, are you going to be co-opted by the Russians with a dime bag? Like, what are we talking about here? It just doesn't make sense, right? And it's super disappointing, because workplace testing policies and terminations for usage of marijuana, they hurt certain communities. They hurt certain demographics more than others. And frankly, I think in most workplaces, it's much more likely that a black man is tested than it would be that I would be tested, right? Now, that's not always true. Many workplaces have random testing. Many workplaces are very careful about that. There's always examples of ways to do things correctly. Although I would say there's really no reason anyone should be testing for marijuana usage unless they also are banning alcohol usage, right? If your job is so sensitive that you can't have your employees under the effects of any substance, well, let's include alcohol, because it's certainly an issue as well. And let's at least do this in an equal opportunities way, where we're just saying, okay, this job is so sensitive, we have to test, right? So listen, I think this is a very questionable policy. At this point, I believe only 5 staffers have been terminated for this reason. Although there's some argument about whether that was the reason, whether it wasn't the reason, right? There's always a back and forth. There's politics, there's spin. But I'm disappointed. As an employment attorney, and as someone who grew up in a nation where African Americans have really been harmed by these attitudes and laws and policies, be better. Be better, Biden.